Yo, yo, yo. Sound check good? Sound check loud. Oh my gosh. What's good? What's good? Y'all know the drill. We'll let a few minutes pass, people to come in that want to watch. I know it's Monday at 3. Not everyone's going to be here that was able to be here on the weekend, but, you know, hopefully they can catch the VOD if they're interested. Good evening, good evening. Sound check good, thank you. So game plan here. You guys know the drill. We're going to start with Bitcoin. I know we just did it yesterday. We're going to do it again. Oh, that's true. We get the Euro guys in here. Nice. Any Africans in the chat? Huh? Yeah, sorry. I had something to deal with yesterday. My own fault, so got that figured out and should have a couple hours here to chit-chat. Look at everyone's coins. We'll go through all my low caps, which, can you guys see them at the top? I guess so. See if I can adjust this a little bit. Boom. There we go. Make it a little bit of a surprise. Did it work? Let me go check. Yeah, it worked. Okay. So yeah, we'll do BTC. Maybe look at some high caps like Ethereum, Wu Trade, Stacks. Same stuff we did yesterday. Kanto is definitely going to 0. Thank you for saying that. What's up, Don? And then we'll look at all my low caps I'm interested in right now. We can take recommendations, and then I'm going to go through some Discord questions that I got over the last week. Oh shit, it's 420 this week? Oh, whoa, I gotta go smoke a doobie. I miss smoking weed. Sort of, not really. It kind of fries my brain, but I miss the idea of it. It's nice not being so hazy all the time anymore. Then you get people like, no, bro, trust me, I work and get high, so it's okay. Yes. Yes. But for sure, we'll look at Doge. I think Doge looked pretty decent last I looked. Nah, I guess not really. Same old, same old. You just know Doge is going to go on another killer run. Like, at least like 20 cents. I mean, you just know it. Maybe this is the cycle we finally see a dollar Doge. I don't know if that's really even possible, but maybe. We'll see. But it's 307, 310. We'll get started on the top down. And then we'll do low caps, questions, and all that good stuff. Okay? Oh, yeah. Make sure to like and retweet the tweet, too. Try to get maximum exposure here. We got a lot of alpha to let out. Also, if you guys missed the stream yesterday while it was up, I talked about the Bob Laxton drama. I'm not going over it again today. So if you missed it, you missed it. It's pretty much a non-event. He basically fudded OXO, you know, because I made a comment about him rugging party, which I knew was not true. It was just memeing around, but he got all bitter and took it very personally. So that's the gist of that. So we won't be talking about that again today. Let's see, we got 15. We'll give it another couple minutes and then we'll get started here. You guys having a good start to the week? Any plans? 420, yeah? Any plans? Goodness. I think I got a nap planned. My goodness. You're in the bath. Is that true? Is that a fact? It's nice to know you're thinking of me while you're in the bath, brother. I appreciate that. Men who takes baths. Any comments on that, folks? Is that Chad? I feel like it's kind of feminine, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of Chad because you don't give a fuck. Baths are kind of pog, too. Let's be real. Baths are pretty nice. You just get to relax. Yeah, I don't do it, but, like, I'm not going to hate on it. People will be hating on baths and then they'll go sit in a hot tub. Like, it's the same thing. You're just using soap. Can't trade in the shower. I mean, come on. That's all you got to say. Well fucking said. Watching a movie, smoking a blunt in a bath. I mean, it sounds pretty nice. Thing is, I don't get in the shower to chill at all. I shower to get clean and get out. I kind of hate showering, honestly. Bath would be the same way. I'm not going to sit and relax. If I want to relax, I'll just sit on my couch. But to each their own. I'm definitely not hating. Who dumped OXO? I mean, it still looks fine. We only first hit this price like 5 days ago. I mean, we were hyped for it here, right? This is hype. You know, if this is hype, isn't this the same thing? But I don't know who dumped it. I think people got funded out because of Bob. It must suck to be them. Also, I think people are watching that Bitcoin's kind of on the edge of the abyss here. Like, pretty steep potential drop. Back down to, like, mid-27s. So, I think people just tend to, you know, a lot of people aren't just in OXO, right? They're in OXO, maybe a few more low caps. They're in mid caps, high caps, Bitcoin, Ethereum. When all their other stuff starts dumping, and OXO is still up, they're thinking, damn, I'm losing money everywhere else. OXO is still up. I better secure some gains there. And they start cutting their winner, even though it's their only winner. It's kind of backwards, but I get it. Play WoW in the bathtub. That's freaking awesome, dude. It is a good coin. I've seen a lot of big guys starting to look at it now. So I imagine if we do dump, you know, what are we at? Like 2.5 cents. If we dump back towards a penny, I think there's going to be a lot of buyers aping back near this old high. I mean, this is really the only consolidation phase we had prior to or after that kind of initial accumulation. So I imagine around a penny, and this is what I said before we broke through a penny. I said eventually, you know, we kind of messed around with it. We broke through it here, broke through it a little bit here, here, here. Once we really got through it, now a penny is cheap, right? Previously, a penny was like, you know, this was the moon target, right? We hit a penny, we fucking made it. Now it's like, well, penny is the target for buying. And that's an 80% discount or something, right? Like, that's the buy the dip territory. Penny is cheap, exactly. So, personally, I mean, I got enough. I'm not going to be buying anymore ever again, probably. But I expect there will be a pretty good amount of demand from people that, you know, have been buying on the way up and want to average down. Or people that haven't gotten in because, it's going up, I'm not going to buy on the way up. And they'll buy the 75% pullback if they like it, you know. But I don't particularly care. I'm just waiting for the DEX to go live so I can start incoming. But yeah, we'll get started on Bitcoin here. Then we'll look at some high caps, OXO, Unsheath, Whisper, Dia. I'm just going to close Seifu, honestly. Like, it's not that interesting. Viper we can look at. 0x Encrypt. Pick some of that up today. Nvidia, you know, Party is what it is. Nerf, Revest, Hoot. And that'll be that. And as my little extra Blockcircle shill, when we look at this stuff, I'm going to highlight where me and the fellas got in versus where it is now. Alright? Would be crazy to see it drop that much. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty reasonable. If you look at the EMA support, that's like our same level as what happened back here when that one guy puked. You know, that'd be right into like a penny. I don't know if we'll go that cheap. There might be enough buyers that we don't get down that low. But I wouldn't be that surprising. You know, you got to keep in mind, guys, you know, if, like, this is up what? Let's ignore the bottom. Let's assume, like, from just the bottom of this first range, it popped up almost 150x. You know, a 75% pullback after that is not that out there. You know, and if you're getting in, like, in here, right, and you're looking for 100x from this range. Wait, what's 100x? Would it be like that? The road to 100x usually has a good number of 75 to 80% pullbacks. Also, you might catch my dog barking. I'm sorry about that, but she's hyped because the organizer lady's here. He said Diagonal has his support. What does that mean? You're not talking about this, right? I mean, I guess so. Thing is, these are both one person, as far as I know, puking. Like, do we really count a structure built off 2 people? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, who am I to say you don't, but... No, they've announced their process for launching the DEX, but they haven't given a specific date, and I'm totally cool with that. I don't think a specific date does anything but hype people up for a date and then hype people up for disappointment if it doesn't come out the date. I don't want it to come out at a specific date. I want it to come out when it's ready, when it's audited properly. And I've told the team this, don't get it audited by one guy. Get it audited by 2, maybe even 3 teams. Like something as revolutionary as this and something that is really, you know, I wouldn't say completely make or break it, but pretty heavily make or break it for the project. Don't get one audit and then release it. Like, I'm sure it's fine if like Solid Proof audits it. I'm sure it's good. And they're, you know, the OXO team are auditors themselves. Like, I'm sure they're testing it out the ass day in and day out. So I have no doubt it's going to be good when they launch it. But, you know, if they have 3 big companies audit their contracts and then they launch the DEX and say it takes a month longer than if they just did it themselves, I think it's so worth it. 1, impatient people are going to puke. That's good for the long term because they won't have anything to puke when we rip. And 2, there's a lot higher confidence that it's safe to use. You know, you want to go buy a shitcoin right now. What do? You go to Uniswap. You don't think about, is it okay to be on Uniswap? It's been up for years. It's been audited out the ass. If it could be broken, someone would break it and run away with all the LPs right now. But it hasn't because it isn't breakable at the time being, you know. So we want this to be the same way. I wouldn't worry about a date, you know, if it's not out in April, if it's not out in May. I don't really think it matters that much. Once it's out, we want it to work consistently. We don't want a big bug in the first week. We don't want a big exploit in the first month or even really in the first year. So I wouldn't focus too much on when it comes out. Limit orders, I mean, I think you can use like Matcha or I think 1inch also offers them, but I'll be real, I've never gotten limit orders on Uniswap to work properly. I've just never been able to do it. But anyways, let's go ahead with Bitcoin. I mean, it's, you know, it determines most of the market, so it's important to pay attention to it. If you guys watched stream yesterday, this might be a little bit redundant, but it's good to hammer on what matters because this decides whether the market is risk on or risk off. If market is risk off, this stuff is not going to get touched as much, right? It's just not. You know, people are putting their profits in from high caps into this stuff. There's people like me and some other guys that put a lot of their just regular funds into low caps, but a lot of guys, they'll make a 2x on Ethereum, take half to cash, you know, leave 25% in Ethereum, and then the other 25% they'll roll into some low caps. Those guys aren't going to keep doing that if everything starts to nuke, right? They're going to be really capital preservationists. So we want Bitcoin to stay bullish. Okay, and for me, that means no monthly close below like 25K. Okay, we want to maintain support above this 8 EMA, right? And ideally, we'd like to get this 8 EMA back above all the other EMAs. Because, you know, we don't even need price. You can see the majority of the bull market occurs when this teal moving average is trending above every other one and when price is trending above the moving average. Okay, this is the muddy middle, okay, where it's kind of just come out of being bearish. It was down, down, down. Now it's up, but it's still just coming out of that. It's below the other EMAs. It's still very uncertain, which, you know, last time and the time before that, we just kind of got above it and stayed above it. You know, we had a good echo bubble here. This time we had an echo bubble, and then we just never broke the 8 EMA all the way up. But we could get above it and then consolidate all the way into the end of the year or something, right? But once we get to the point where it's really trending hard above all the other EMAs, then we consider that as like the utmost support. If you close below the 8 on the monthly, it's toast, okay? It's just, you know, it's a simple rule to follow, okay? So that's the most important thing for me. Right now, again, I don't care about it as much because we're still, in my opinion, technically in a consolidating market. Even if we go up to mid 40Ks, which is my plan for this year, then I think we just consolidate after that down to where we are now, you know, like this, up until the halving next year, which is in April or May or some shit like that. Okay? Most of the time, Anthony, yeah. I mean, most of the time, yeah. Because think about it, you've made a 100x, a 50x, a 10x, even a 5x on OXO. Like I was saying earlier, most people in this are not just in this. Some of us are just in this and other low caps, but most people are in this and then mid caps, high caps, you know, this is their lowest exposure. If all their high caps start to nuke, even if OXO doesn't nuke, they will sell it because it's the only thing they're still in profits on. You know, they're losing all their money on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Shit, I need to make sure I take my profits on OXO so that I don't lose everything. it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's gonna dump. Everything will dump if Bitcoin starts nuking. That being said, when Bitcoin stops nuking, this kind of stuff is easier to be seen. You know, like this stuff happens. You might get a big fat candle down, but unlike Bitcoin, it doesn't take billions of dollars to bring it back up. It'll take 5 people that really want a fat bag of OXO to bring it up from a penny to where we are now. You know? So we might do this, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin decides we're bullish again, and we're back. We're back. Bitcoin doesn't have to come back to 30K. You know, we could go down to 20K and then consolidate, and then all of a sudden we're back. Bitcoin's not at 30K, it's at 24K. OXO might already be back where it is now. But it's just inevitable, right? I mean, I will say this though. You know, let's look at Bitcoin's last dump before we get into the rest of the top down. The last big dump was February 20th to March 10th. Okay? February 20th to March 10th. Massive dump. You know? Massive dump. 25K to less than 20K. That's a big dump. Right? And the only time that there really was a big puke was this guy. And as far as I know, this is 0x Porsche. Supposedly, he just had an emergency and had to sell his funds. So, as far as I'm concerned, this just went up and sideways during that. Now, that being said, it was $1 million market cap. So, you know, now that there's so much more people in profits, we could dump back to this range and then range there for a while, which would look, you know, everyone's going to say it's over. Oh, it's down 80%, it's over. But, you know, a lot of us that have been in for a while, even if you're just in from this range, you know, you're still up a good 2, 3, 4x chilling, right? Especially if you already took your initial out. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to talk about it more. Let's go ahead and keep focusing on Bitcoin. So my game plan for the rest of the year is a move towards 40K. The big thing is we got to get through this 30 to 32K block. And there's definitely no guarantee that's going to happen the first time we're coming into it right now. Like, it would make a fair bit of sense to have a retrace to, you know, mid 20Ks, consolidate for a bit, and then move up, you know, maybe in the summer or after the summer. I think that makes as much sense as just blowing right through it. Okay, I think both of them make sense. I'm not trying to go I always say, I'm not trying to be a hero and say, we're definitely going to 45K. We're definitely going to 20K. Like, I think it's a bit absurd to even make a judgment call like that. But if we get through 32K, I think it's much more likely that we go to 40K before we go to 20K. What's up, Tommy? I'm glad you could tune in. You didn't really miss anything, bro. We're really just getting started. And I got plenty of time today. So, yeah, a few reasons 40K is my big target. I went over it last stream, but I'll go over it briefly here. We tend to test the 61.8 fib of the bear market before halving. All right, a halving is a year, basically a year from today. I think it's next April, around April like 15th or something. And that'll change depending on block times, whatever. But the 61.8 fib right now is at 48.8K. So the same lower high I've been talking about. It was the same for the last bear market. We came all the way up to it pretty early. Like, halving was still a year away when that happened, and we're still a year away from halving now. So it could happen just like 2019, right? We might be running the same playbook as 2019. Or we could do something like the previous bear market, where we tested the same 61.8 fib right here perfectly, but we didn't do it in one go like we did in 2019. We went up, and then we consolidated, which is kind of what I'm talking about capping here. We fail at 32K, retest 25, go sideways, and then pop up before the halving. Consolidate, and then rip to new highs at some point next year. We could do that. Another reason I like this level is that it's the yearly open. It was the same in 2015. I know we're zoomed out, but just trust me. It was the same here. Retested it before halving. You can see it was the exact same in 2019. Right, that was the top for the echo bubble. And I think it's going to be the same way in 2023. 49K at some point this year. It's not a guarantee, but if I had to make a call, that would definitely be it. Okay, Monday stream. That's right, brother. Won't get as many. I mean, we still got 30 people in here at 3 p.m. on a Monday. That's pretty impressive. But homeboy made a good point. A lot of Euro guys are here. It's like 9 p.m. there. So Velocity said 1 million in play. When was that? Didn't he say in 90 days or 30 days or something? Surely that was more than 30 days ago. I was convinced the moment that happened. Hello. No, you're good. The moment that happened, I was convinced that Balaji was just doing it for some form of marketing for his own product. And I think that was the case. I think he announced after that he was launching something or whatever. Like, I think it was just some big marketing ploy. I don't think he really thought we were going to hit 1 million. He just knew if he said that, he's going to be all over the internet. Everyone's going to have eyes on Balaji, right? Tuning in from wage cut gig. Let's go. Do you tune in from work? That's fucking hype. Wage cook? I don't know. I know you're messing around, but I don't ever see it that way. If you have a job and you have consistent income, you don't got to worry about your investments going to zero. I mean, obviously you still would, but you know, you make a lot of money, you go to work tomorrow. Your investments go to zero, you go to work tomorrow. Like, it's consistency. You bring in money regardless. You always got money to invest if you want to. So, I don't consider that cuck. I mean, I think that's pog. Obviously, you know, it's nice to be home, but most of the guys I know that have gotten to retire early, less than 5 years, they're back at work, right? Like, they, not because they lose it, they just want to work. It gives you, like, that structure that people like. Maybe they're not doing the same job, of course, but, and, I mean, it's just kind of the nature of it. Anyways, let's go into the weekly here on Bitcoin. I know we want to get to shitcoins for sure. But the weekly definitely outlines the key resistance we're at right now, which is all these wicks, the support from 2021, as well as this kind of section of higher lows, lower highs right in here. There's a good chance we don't break through this on our first go, right? We might nuke back towards like the range high back here, or towards these lows on the daily on the 4 hour. Somewhere in here, and we might consolidate through the summer. Could be a very boring summer. Sell in May, walk away, that kind of crap. You know, that might come to fruition. So expect this stuff to dump if that happens. But, as I was saying a little bit earlier, this stuff recovers much faster than other stuff because it doesn't take that much money to move, you know, $1 million market cap coin back up. Obviously, 2 people can sell this down 50% right now if they want to. But 2 people can also come back in and push it up 100% at the same time. So I'd rather be in that stuff than high caps, but it all depends on your own portfolio. Like, I have maybe only 15 to 20% of my net worth in crypto. So if I lose 50% on it, you know, that's 10% of my, 7 to 10% of my net worth. That's stomachable for me. I'm okay with that risk. Versus the guy who's got 100% of his net worth in crypto, I would not want to be all in low caps because I don't want to be losing 50 to maybe 80% of my net worth in a short period of time. I've been there, and I wanted to bang my head against the wall. It sucks. Anyone remember strong days? I love my job. Traded my own book for like 10 months last year. Don't miss it at all. Heck yeah, dude. Love that. Absolutely love that. They took their derbs, yeah. Solana? Absolutely, dude. I haven't looked at Solana in ages. We can totally look at that. How much OXO do I have? More than 1 million, less than 1 billion. Somewhere in that range. I didn't say it, Green Tea. I didn't say it. I said song. I was talking about songs. Anyways, we ain't got to talk too much about Bitcoin. Things look good on the weekly, even better than the monthly. We've finally gotten above all of our bearish EMAs. We're trending above the 8, which sits right around 27.5K right now. The cycle's getting a little bit overextended. Momentum is finally starting to wane a little bit. Right, we've had the first downtick in momentum in, I don't know, since end of February. But let's keep in mind, this is not confirmed until the weekly closes. So, you know, if we rock it up by the end of next week, or the end of this week, then, you know, momentum might continue. But I could definitely see this being a local top for a little bit, which means likely for a lot of our low caps, local tops as well. So, you know, make sure you guys have initials out on a lot of your projects. That's what I would say. Like, I don't mind losing open P&L if I have my initial out, because at the end of the day, you know, we're not in a bull market. I wouldn't say we're in a bear market right now, but we're definitely in like an in-between accumulation stage, right? And so capital preservation is still very important. The big goal for me is not to lose the money I put into these projects. So OXO, most of it is open P&L. I've taken out my initial, but I still have a lot of open P&L. I'm personally okay risking a lot of that for a long-term goal, right? But if you haven't taken out your initial, it would suck to lose all your open P&L and still take a loss after such a crazy move. So I'm not saying nuke the books now or anything, but, you know, over the coming days, weeks, maybe make sure you guys have your initials out. Unless you're only up like 50%. I mean, you know, you do you. But if you're up 10x, 20x on this stuff, like, maybe take a little bit off the plate, you know? You might be the bottom, but, you know, I took out my initial at a penny. So, you know, I already missed out on that chunk on 250% move, right? So, missed Woo on this dump. All right, I think we're going to look at Woo right after Bitcoin. All right, let's watch, guys. Anyone who sells here, we're going to track your wallet forever. So, just keep in mind, I'm watching. Who's this? 328 sold 2 minutes ago. Let's check him out. Check him out. Front fin to F. Who is it? Who is it? Front fin, are you in the chat, buddy? We're coming for you. I'm just playing. Real talk, though, like, on the way up, you know, make fun of sellers, but after 100x plus, it's time to stop making fun of sellers. You know, if people want to take profits now, I'm not finna shame nobody. If someone wants to nuke this 20%, I don't care. You know, if we rip back up, I'll make fun of them. You know, it's fine. But in reality, if you made a ton of money, even if this is going to go up 10x, 20x from here, it's still a big dub. Like, you should be happy with it. Just don't, sorry about the dog. Just don't fully exit. Just trust me on this one. I did this example last stream and the streams before. But trail out some of it with weekly candles. Here's the weekly for OXO if you guys haven't seen it. That's it. It's all one move. Right? What we want to do on the weekly is... Oh, I've still got all the drawings in here too. Let's delete it so I can give the example again. So this could be OXO right now. We could be like this. Or it could be like this. You know, we could be topping out for a while. But regardless, we have not had any kind of structure on the weekly like this to find demand and consolidate and make real higher lows. It's just up, 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 up. Eventually, whether we go to, you know, whether this was it and we go sideways, or whether we go to a penny and then sideways, or whether we go to half a cent and sideways, like, we will make higher lows and then continue up, assuming the project is successful later. And then, you know, maybe the same thing happens. Big dump, whatever, right? If you take off everything here and this shit hits $1 and you sold all yours at 2 cents, you're going to feel like an idiot, even if you made a 20x or whatever. But if you keep, you know, 5%, 10%, 20% of your bag, and then, you know, let's say you sold all yours for, I don't know, 20 or 30x, right? And then you trail out 25% of your bag with weekly candle higher lows, you're not going to sell the top, but you're going to capture the majority of the move. You'll eventually get out 80% down from the highs, but you don't got to think on the way up, man, is this the top? Is this the top? Is this the top? I don't know. You don't have to know. You just trail out your stop and cut it when weekly market structure breaks, when you break the weekly bands, right? It's simple. You don't got to think. And if you do that, you took most of yours off for a 30x, well, the rest of it, you get a 300x, you know? So, and in the meantime, you might have rolled that 30x into 10 other bags that you're also trailing out a piece. One of those might go 10x, one of those might go 1000x, one of those might go 40x, 5x, like, and I preach this shit all day. I'm not going to say I do it. I still sell bags out the ass, and I regret it a lot of the time. Sometimes you don't because it dies, but it's always a good idea to keep a moon bag. Always. Especially on a big winner. Until market structure breaks. Dude, yeah, AntShares was my first big dub. When I first joined this group that is now Blockcircle, we were called the Poloniex Wells Millionaires. I bought in the pretty much the top. Not the top, like I brought in like $6 on AntShares. And then I kept buying. We had a perfect engulfing setup. And I didn't know this way of trading back then, but look how beautiful this holds the bands over and over. Then you get a clean angular breakout. They rebranded Neo. Super clean consolidation phase and breakout. I mean, this is some of the cleanest trading I've ever seen in my life. And then, you know, just make absolute stacks. Right? That was one of my first big winners, AntShares. Good times. And then when you start trending below all your EMAs and moving averages, you just cut it. You cut the rest of the bag. You know, oh, you're cutting it at $50. It was 200. Yeah, well, most people thinking that, like, why would you sell at 50 when it was 200? Ain't none of those people saying that are in from down here. I guarantee it. They're in from here, right? And they ain't going to be able to hold all the way up because they don't have a good trailing stop practice. They're too scared to give up 80% that they fail to realize that the 80% from the top is actually, you know, 30,000% from their actual entry, if they're trading smart. So, and look at this. Start of 2017 versus half a year into 2018. This is the long outlook you want on stuff like this, okay? Don't be so short-sighted. Don't be in here on the 15-minute chart OXO trying to decide if it's over. Okay, it's ridiculous. The only way it's over is if the project completely fails, right? I'm pretty sure they can't rug. The contract ownership is renounced. They can't pull liquidity. Like, there's no way to rug it. They can't change the tax, the sale tax. So there's no way really for the team to rug. The only thing is if they fail, right? If they can't do what they said they're going to do. And even then, there's projects that have failed and, you know, restructured their project. Think about Lend. Anyone know about the coin Lend? Maybe you know it as Aave, right? Well, Aave in 2017, 2018 was garbage. Yeah? It was trash. It was a dead project, but then they pivoted heavily to DeFi and became a lending protocol, and they went from 30 cents to $600, right? OXO could be the same way. Even if the privacy dex fails, if they pivot properly, 6-12 months from now, this could be a big banger again. So, always keep a moon bag, guys. I don't think there's anything else that I need to say on BTC. I'm sure you guys get the idea. Above 32K, I think we rocket to 45. Below, I think we just consolidate down towards like 25K. You know, form a range in here. Probably all the way through the summer, I would imagine. So, let's move on. I'm going to get to the low caps. I've been talking about OXO a lot, but I really want to hit some high caps. I want to hit WooTrade. I want to hit Solana. Looks like we want to look at Lido. But we'll talk about OXO. Views for the next weeks to months. I mean, it's really hard to say, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to talk about it later, okay? So let's look at WooTrade. Because WooTrade is one of the strongest looking high caps right now. Trending well above all of its daily moving averages. Finally trading above weekly moving averages. And the monthly is trending above the 8. So as long as the monthly stays above like 20 cents, WooTrade looks really solid. And it's one of the only centralized exchanges left. And I'll barely even consider it yesterday a stream. I mean, I guess so. We talked for like 30 minutes, but yeah, back to back. I would do more if I thought it wouldn't just be repetitive. Like, I would stream twice a week if I didn't think that what I say on Sunday is just going to be the same stuff on Wednesday. Because, like, sometimes nothing changes from Sunday to Wednesday. Usually a week, there's plenty of stuff to talk about, but I would happily stream twice a week. Okay, thanks for tuning in, homie. I hope you have a great rest of your day. But, yeah, WooTrade looks really good. It's definitely going to potentially suffer from the same problem as BTC, in that we're retesting the underside of all the 2021 support right now. So, you know, really, until we blow through like 40 cents, there's definitely a good possibility that we fail here and we retest down towards like low 20 cents. Definitely possible. Yeah, still bullish on DIA. I just gotta say the holders of DIA are some pussies, man. Like, these guys puke at the first sight of danger. And like, a lot of guys also don't know that the market cap for DIA is only half of what Dex Screener shows. So like, who is puking a 700K coin?
She's gone.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, baby.
After the barking.
That's okay. I don't think anyone cares. But, like, who's puking a 750K coin for a 2x? It's just bonkers to me. These are the guys that are not thinking long-term, right? And probably because they've gone too heavy. Now, here's where I'll differ. If you're trading, you know, a $5,000 account, and you're just trying to flip-flop, power to you. Like, you know, puke it, go to something else, I get it. But those same people should always leave a 10-20% moonbag, right? And most of them don't. When you go check these guys that are selling, it's all in, all out. And it's kind of pathetic, honestly. But, you know, power to you, you make money, whatever. The pool, you're talking about Party? No, I think he's still going off on Twitter about it. But he said he even bought some OXO. How about that? But, you know, I will say OXO's recovered nicely. And Party looks like garbage. Like, I should have dumped it at a penny when I told Bob I wouldn't do it, but I should have just done it anyways. But regardless, yeah, WooTrade looks very good. If you're looking to get in, you know, I would say near term, something like, you know, you could be buying this consolidation structure here if you're really bullish on it. But I think mid 20 cents is a better bet. And then, you know, you can build an average into here. And you can cut it below 26, 25 if you want. Or you can just play the daily with a wider stop and lower size. Remember, guys, you don't have to have the heaviest size, and build a position like this down to 20 cents and only cut it if we fail to hold like 20 cents. I think this is a safer bet, especially if you're not trading leverage. And guys, I really do not recommend trading on leverage. You know, it's just, most people are not going to be that successful with it. They're going to get ahead of themselves. They're going to up their size too much. They're going to use too tight of stops, and they're going to miss the bigger picture moves. If you're scalping a range or something, I get it. Or if you really need that, you know, scratch that itch, put 5% of your account on the exchange, or 3%, and go degen with that. Don't put half your stack on Binance and then lever up. You just consider that everything goes well with the government and the banks and all that stuff. The dollar keeps getting crushed. We're going to get a raging bull market 2024, 2025. You do not want to have lost 75% of your bear market capital trading on leverage. You will hate yourself. Don't do it. Right? You know, if you're going to do it, use a small percentage of your account. Small, low risk. And nowadays, I don't even recommend keeping more than like 10% of your stack on exchanges. I just think, like, at least, you know, if you're owning your own keys, you have the risk of yourself screwing it up. But it definitely, you know, it's better to have yourself screw yourself than get screwed by a centralized exchange. Okay? Because they don't owe you shit. You know, and if I lose my keys, or if someone mugs me or some shit, like, that's so much less likely than Binance going down. I mean, Binance is just one example. I don't think Binance is going to go down. Binance going down would definitely be bad for the space, but, you know, you get the idea. Prayers up for BL. Hope he's okay. Genuinely, dude, I mean, no hard feelings to Bob. I just think he's going on a fucking autistic spree, and he seems a lot more fragile than I expected. He comes off as this, like, alpha male Chad. But you make one comment about him, you meme on your friends, and he just pops off and tries to crush your investments for days on end. Like, power to him, I guess. I mean, maybe that's what makes him feels good, putting others down. Like, I don't know. But I don't wish him any ill will. I hope he's doing all right. You know, all is well. I hope he saves his damn project, dude. This shit's sad. Like, we're sitting at basically all-time lows. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't just buy back and burn it out the ass now that the pool 3 is over. But we'll see. He's the kind of guy that's not going to let this go to shit. That's why I'm still invested. Bob will not let this go and stay to zero. I'm pretty confident that he's too prideful. He loves shoving shit in people's faces too much, that he will pump the shit out of this in any way he can. That's what I believe, at least. Still haven't taken initials for OXO since I got in late. Still multiple X's. Just taking initials for the next pump. Just do it now. Hey, man. I've been the bottom plenty of times. Ha ha ha. Anyone get it? But real talk, I've sold the bottom. I mean, it sucks. It also sucks to take a losing trade that was in the money for a long period of time. So, you know, only you can make that decision. I always tell people that I can't choose for you guys what you want to do. It's all up to your own risk tolerance. You know, I waited a long time. I mean, a penny is still like cheap now. That's where I sold my initial, but I waited for my lowest entry, a 33x, to take my initial. At any point, I could have just gotten wrecked all the way back to my entry. And I would have hated it, dude. I would have hated it. Really hated it. Yeah, hate did go to 0. Yep. But before it went to 0, let me just pull up a new tab. I'm pretty sure I had a sick run. Heaven's Gate. That was a cool-ass project name. I'll give him that. You know, it did this. Does this remind you of anything? Right? Like, this is the BL effect. He'll let it sit here and then do some shit like this. Okay, so we hit new highs, I'm out. I'll just say that. We hit new highs, I'm out. Until then, I'm just going to hold on and see what he does. I mean, like I said, he's super prideful. So I imagine he's got some plans to pump the shit out of this, just like he did hate. And then it'll go to 0. Because it's, you know, I don't think it's that good of a project, to be honest. So yeah, if you want to, you know, if you want to sell, take profits, there's no hard feelings. If we go up 10x from here, don't give a shit that you sold the bottom, dude. Because then, once we start moving up, you're going to be chilling. Because your initial's already out, it'll make holding that much easier. And then, if we do this, you're not going to feel retarded that you didn't take out your initial when you had a chance, right? So, don't come blame me if you take out and it goes up. Don't blame me if you don't take out and it goes down. I mean, it's all on you. But just know whatever you do is fine, dude. Like, it's okay to take profits. I mean, And it's also okay to hold on if you just think it's going to last. What's the deal with ID pumping on Bybit KYC news? That's a project I haven't heard about in a while. No shit. Pretty nice move. I don't know what the fundamentals are here recently, but it definitely gives me like early Wu trade vibes. I mean, this is a really nice breakout. This was a clean long right here. But not something I'll be chasing by any means. I don't know anything about it, but it looks good. I mean, it looks very strong. No Pepe talking here, guys. I'm coping on Pepe. I missed out completely. I don't want to hear about it. But shout out to the guys that made it. I mean, that's a sick pump. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I got you, brother. Anyways, pretty much done with Wu trade. Like I said, if you're looking to build a position, either you build into mid 20s and you cut if we break like 26, 25, or you're building into low 20s and you only cut if we break the last higher low. Or even, you could even do risk back down to the weekly higher low, which is down here at 15. It just depends on how much you're willing to risk and how desperate you are to have a big bag. I faded Pepe, don't mention it. Exactly. I simply pretend I don't see it. It's really that easy. It pumped. I didn't know that. Never saw it. Never happened. Doesn't bother me. Banging my head against the wall? Maybe a little bit, but it's okay. Alright, let's look at Solana. I know some guys want me to look at Solana. Ugh. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm sure it'll have a sick catch-up move. I just prefer not to trade stuff that looks like this on the weekly. I mean, look without the candles. Where's the direction of all these EMAs? Right? Now, obviously, by the time it's bullish, you know, it's going to be in the 50s and the 60s. Price is going to be a lot higher. But at least then, once you consolidate up here, you have the confidence in a real trend. Like, say, something like stacks, where you actually got back up here. So now, we do a consolidation in here on stacks. I can be more confident that we're actually in a strong uptrend. You know, we've cleared these levels. We've cleared all the bands. Sure, you're not buying at 30 cents anymore. You're going to be buying at 80 cents, 70, 60, 50. But at least you have the confidence that you have a strong trend. Versus Solana, you know, you're basically banking that we're going to go into a full bull market, like soon. Okay, so if you're really set on being in it, you know, I would not want to see these recent higher low pivots break. I would not want to see closes below 20 bucks. You know, you could build a position into it, cut if we break it, or like I'm talking about Wu trade, if you're not feeling as risky, you can build a greater position like this, because they might run the stops from in here, and then you only cut if we break 15. You're going to have less size, use a wider stop, but personally, with bearish market structure, and still, these lower highs are bearish market structure, I'd rather be a little bit lighter size, you know, and your long-term setup is something like this. Oh, I hate when TradingView does this. There we go. Oh, wait, let's do this. Your long view setup is something like this. You know, let's say you're targeting the first bear market lower high. And then, let's say you break up, boom, you get some consolidation here. Then you can do some a little bit higher risk setups with higher risk reward. Here we go again. You know, something like this. And then you can have multiple positions. You know, 8 times your risk is pretty good for this move. 15 times your risk, pretty good for this move. Nice wide stop. And then maybe you come in on the breakout here on something like this. Oh my gosh, I hate this. Let me move this over here. And then maybe, so you have like a weekly setup, and then you get a consolidation phase, you do a daily setup, and then on a breakout higher low retest like this, maybe you do a little 4-hour setup where you buy some with a tight stop, and then you've got multiple risk reward opportunities, 30x, 8x, 15x, 14x, whatever. And I just think it's less stressful. Obviously, on the first pump, you're going to feel like, I knew I should have sized up, but long-term outlook, guys. I mean, it took us how many days for Solana to go down here? 500 days. If this goes bullish, it's not going to be a 30-day run and it's dead again, most likely. You know, if Solana continues to be a main ecosystem, it's probably going to have a couple 100 days of good price action with consolidation phases in between it. Doesn't matter how many pumps you fade as long as you grab a few of them and avoid buying local tops. Yeah, that's another good point. I don't know if it's the point he's trying to make, but don't spread yourselves too thin. You know, especially if you're on a smaller account, you know, and especially if you're in Blockcircle, you know, I've got 10 to 15 coins running. Don't feel like you got to be in all of them. You know, you might hate yourself if one of them pumps and you're out of it, but if you're in 15 bags, you know, a couple percent of your account, and one of them mega pumps, you're going to be wishing you might have been more heavy in that one and less in some of the other ones, right? So that's why it's important to not just follow me, but look into the projects themselves and see which one gives you more confidence. Like OXO at the lows, I put in 5% of my account. That's a pretty big bet to zero. Usually I'll do 2, 1, 2, 3%. 5% was a lot, but I was more confident in it than, say, Viper Lang or Viper token, whatever. I put in like 1% because I just wasn't as confident. Right now, if it rips, I'm going to make less than if I put 5%, but I'm just not as confident, so that let me put more funds into something I was more confident in, right? Ooh, Prime. Yeah, we should look at Prime. It's a good idea. Definitely feels kind of make it or break it right now, right? I would really like to see it reclaim like $2. You know, we're kind of in this little bit of a intermediate term downtrend right now. So if you can break out of that and keep making higher lows over here, I think it looks better than just trying to ape the downtrend. But you are coming into 4-hour EMA support. I don't think this unlocks really heavily until July. So plenty of time to keep going. And you're trending above your 200 period moving average on the 4-hour. That being said, the daily looks a little bit sketchy, right? With these topping tails breaking to 8 EMA potentially. So, you know, you could definitely nibble in here. And then once this downtrend breaks, you might have a better opportunity to build a position with your risk back to here. Because on the way down, you don't really want to just buy here with your risk here. Because you could easily do something like this, right? Get stopped out before the big move. And then, oh, you got stopped out. You're not going to want to chase it. And then before you know it, you completely missed out. Versus nibble, nibble, nibble. Maybe your risk is back down here, smaller size. You get a flush, you don't get stopped because you're using a closing basis stop. It recovers, you average down a little bit, reclaims, breaks out of the 4-hour downtrend or whatever. Size up, and send it. Hey, I didn't even realize that was you, Gek. Love you too, brother. I appreciate you. What makes you most bullish on stacks and Dia? We look at Agi. We want to look at Synapse. Okay, I do want to look at Synapse because someone mentioned that a fair bit earlier. I try to go in order. Synapse is definitely the oldest one, I think. Yeah, so we'll look at Synapse next. Is that on centralized exchanges? Yeah. My big issue... Okay, let's go to the dexes. My biggest issue with Synapse is I don't... Again, keep in mind, I don't pay attention to the fundamentals, and I don't pay attention to the project at all, really. I use it. I've just never needed the token to use it. You know, the bridge works great. I'm not going to say it's the best bridge out there, but it works well whenever I need it to work. But I've never once needed or even been incentivized to use their token. So maybe one of you guys can tell me that that's not true, that there's actually a use case to their token. But I'm not seeing it. I mean, and it doesn't have to have a use case. You know, Ripple, Stellar Lumens, Digibyte, all that stuff pumped in 2017 had no use case. It doesn't have to, but it's a lot easier for me to get invested into something and to be more confident and to up my size if I know, oh shit, you know, these guys want to use Synapse and get half off their fees. They have to hold the SYN token. Great, I'll buy some SYN so I can get half off my bridging fees. That'd be awesome. But as far as I know, there is nothing like that for Synapse. So long term, I don't know. I think it's good. I think the project and the bridge will keep getting use, which will likely keep the token price going up. It's what's going on with the market cap? Fully diluted 150, market cap 200. SYN chain. What is that? What is that? Does it need to exist? Will it get used? So I don't know. If you're bullish on this, I think it's a good time to be invested. You know, you can build a position into the lows down here. Right? And then if we, I mean, this is basically all-time lows. If you break 50 cents, you know, run for the hills. Right? So you can nibble. And then just like I'm talking about on whatever coin we just looked at, you know, when this intermediate term downtrend breaks, you can hit it harder. But for now, you know, you're basically betting, if you're buying here, you're betting that this is over, this downtrend, and that this uptrend is going to continue now. Which is fair, you know, it's been in a range for an entire year. And you're sitting basically right in the middle of the range, so there's not really that much edge if you're range trading this. But if you're looking for a long-term position, you know, $4 to 50 cents is a pretty good dip, right? I just think there's better opportunities. I do like that it's super liquid, so you can ape in and out on size without worrying about slippage, really. But, you know, I don't really know if the longevity is there. I think the platform will survive, though. So if the platform survives, I'm sure the chain or the coin will survive as well. Is it this one? Agility? Holy shit, $4 million liquidity for a $10 million market cap? That's awesome. Damn, people were telling me about this too during the range, and I definitely middle curved it. 400 million TVL, wow. But why? You know, why are they making their own blockchain? What is the... Why would I use Synapse over Arbitrum or Polygon? You know, or ZK Sync or whatever. Like, what's the pull? I just feel like everyone wants their own blockchain now, but why? I mean, maybe it's good. Maybe it's a good enough catalyst for a pump. I don't know. I don't think I'd personally use Synapse Chain. I mean, unless a project I really liked was there. So what's the shill here? What's the shill here on Agi? I mean, the chart looks great. Like, I would definitely ape this if I could get this back below 40 cents. Which I probably won't. I'll probably not get that dip and miss out, which is okay. I don't really mind, but this is hype, dude. You can throw in a lot of money into this with pretty little slippage. So, y'all gotta ping me, alright? If this goes back below like 50 cents, y'all gotta ping me, because I definitely want to get a position of this. This looks cool. Farming rewards. Here's the kicker. Are you farming Agi to get more Agi, or are you farming Agi to get a different token? Because I don't really like owning tokens that are being farmed for their own token. Personally. I feel like long term it's not really viable. It might make for a good bubble short term, but it's dilutive, yeah. I imagine so. Well then, I'll probably avoid it. Maybe I'll get some if we get a dip back towards like long-term trend down here, but I don't know. I prefer, that's one reason I'm really so hyped about OXO, is that the rewards we'll be getting, assuming it's successful, are Ethereum rewards. Right? There's not going to be a reason to nuke out OXO if you're making enough every month on Ethereum rewards, right? Not too predatory. All right, well, I'll definitely give it more of a look, but if you guys could ping me, I'll try to set some alerts, but if you guys ping me when it's down here, I'll ape a little bit. Keep your hands on WASP, dude, really? Ugh, pathetic. Again, this is another one people don't realize. This is only $1 million market cap right now. It's the only good project that I've seen on ZK Sync. What's on ZK Sync? ZK Doge, ZK Sheeb, ZK Your Mom Gay. Like, it's nothing good. It's just ZK clones of other crap. This is one of the only low caps I've seen that is an actual individual project doing something unique for this chain. So for me, this is an extremely long hold. I am not trying to sell this at all anytime soon. Like, I won't even be taking out, I mean, oh, I forgot. I was going to say, for each of the projects I talk about, try and get more people in Blockcircle, you know? When we got in, well, Blockcircle gang is in from here and here. We're chilling. We're all up 100%, 200%. We're absolutely chilling right now. So if you guys want these early entries, I'm finna stop posting on Twitter my first entries for this stuff, because previously I would just tweet stuff, and it was a kind of a disservice to Blockcircle guys, but I wasn't thinking about it. You know, I've always just tweeted transparently what I'm doing, but that time's over. I'm not tweeting my new entries. I'm tweeting them when they're up 2, 3, 4x now. So if you guys want those early entries with me, you're going to have to be in Blockcircle. All right. And that being said, everything I buy is not good. Like, there's plenty of stuff I'm going to buy. Don't think you're going to join Blockcircle, buy the next coin I buy, and it's just going to be an OXO. Probably not. But, you know, everyone that's been in from the start of this year and the previous years, chilling, right? I mean, I can't control how people execute. You know, you can be in Blockcircle and still whiff the bags. That's on you. But people that are, you know, doing their own research, managing the risk properly, absolutely chilling right now. But yeah, Whisper is my favorite project on ZK Sync and my only exposure there. And part of me to be eligible for the airdrop, but the more I read about it, the more I was actually hyped about the potential for this project. I mean, they're going to have a bunch of DeFi tools. They're going to have some prediction markets. You know, they're having liquidity locking, kind of like Unicrypt. Like, they got a lot of good stuff going on. Very ambitious. You know, it depends on if they can actually pull it off or not. But I'm definitely not puking this at $1 million market cap. Like, these people are out of their mind. And I mean, most of these guys puking are not in from here, right? The guys puking are at best in from here, and they're puking at what, a 50% gain on a $1 million market cap coin? I just think it's, I don't know, I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. But power to you, you know, profits are profits. That's all fun and games. What do the OXO team get since all rewards go to holders? How do they make money? They make money if they hold their own token. I mean, if I'm building a project and I'm confident in it and I launch it on Uniswap, you best believe I'm buying right here. So I've asked the devs and they've, you know, they haven't strictly, like, I know some, like, the community manager definitely owns some, but there's no team tokens, right? When the project launched, there wasn't, all right, we're going to set 10% aside for marketing. We're going to set 10% aside for the team. The team gets 10% of rewards. Nope. None of that. If Sir Enigma, the main dev, wants to make money, he needs to hold his own token that he has to buy himself, same as everyone else. And if he believes in himself and the team, which I imagine he does, he's buying here and here, and he's got plenty of tokens. Okay, which I prefer it that way. I don't want the team to have their own set of tokens. I want them to ape the market with the rest of us. So I'm sure the team members hold their own tokens. So they'll be earning rewards just like the rest of us. And if they're successful, their tokens will go up as well. So that's how they'll make money. They don't have to siphon from the rest of us to win. And I love that, right? It's like so anti-greed. Most guys launching tokens, they're going to ape their immediate launch. And they're also going to go risk-free and say, we get team tokens that we get a year from now. And we get 50% of all rewards. You know, that's the average move. Like, OXO is not average by any means. Thoughts on Bard still? Ugh. You give me PTSD, brother. So this is a great example for those of you that didn't hear about this. You know, you can whiff the bag and have, you know, and still like be chilling. I mean, we got in on Bard. My first call on it was right here. Right in from the get-go, held it all the way up, and then I puked it right here. $10,000, right? Would have made a fat, I mean, honestly, I would not have held all the way up. I probably would have puked the first pump. But I would have made, you know, at least 30 grand or maybe even 50 if I held. Upwards of 100 grand missed out because I puked the Pico low. It happens. You know, it happens to the best of us. But now, as far as the project quality goes, they're just trying to ride the hype of Google Bard. I don't know how far that can take it. I know BitLord got in and shilled the shit out of it. That's why it pumped up this time. If he shills it again, maybe it pumps again. I don't really know about the longevity of it, but you have to understand I'm super biased because this little candle here is me. Right? So I pretend I don't see it. Simple as that. If you have a good entry, you know, in an entry down here, what is this? Probably like 200K market cap. You know, I would hope you took some profits on this pump. And then the rest of it, I would just hold. I mean, if you don't want to give it up, get out. You know, leave a moon bag and get out. But if you're confident in what they're doing, I wouldn't be touching it at 900K market cap. I would wait and see if this hits 5-10 mil in a bull market. But, you know, if you're 30% of your account is in it or something, I mean, I would have definitely de-risked some of that on this pump. No, Wisp is only on ZK Sync. You cannot buy it on mainnet. So these guys are literally going all the way through the process of getting to ZK Sync just to puke it for tiny ass gains. It's crazy. So the people that are in this now are the early adopters of ZK Sync. This is very, very early. in this coin's market cycle. You know, maybe it comes all the way back here to a penny, but this is extremely early. It's $1 million market cap right now. Okay. What's up, Aiden? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Also, Nyx mentioned by Income Sharks. Okay, let me check that out. All right, let's go to this one. Oh, wow. What a pump. Ooh, someone got antsy here. What's the shill? Hold on, I think my headset turned off. Give me a second. Why am I even wearing a headset? I don't have any sound playing. What's up, brother? I'm doing great. And I pray the same for you. Ah, I forgot to start the stream to thank Jesus for giving me the opportunity to do this. This is such a wonderful thing to be able to do. And I want to give a shout out to God for that one, because without him, I'm not able to do this. So shout out to you, God. God bless. Easiest way to buy it? There's no easy way to buy it, honestly. If you want the full breakdown of how to buy it, you're going to have to join Blockcircle, because I don't feel like going through it. It's a pain in the butt. You have to go to chainlist.org, add ZK Syncs, you know, mainnet info to your MetaMask, and then you go to the bridge for ZK Sync. I can't remember what it was, but you go to that bridge, you bridge your Ethereum, and then you go to Mute Exchange and you buy it with your Ethereum there. Just keep in mind, anything you bridge to ZK Sync can take up to 72 hours to bridge back. So don't put anything there that you're going to need in the near term, okay? But, you know, you don't have to join Blockcircle to get that. The information's all out there, but I've got it all set up really nice and clean if you want to figure it out there. Zigzag, yeah, that's the only other decent project there, I would say. Yeah, that's the main reason I got into Dia. And a lot of people just aped Dia. The reason a lot of OXO guys are in Dia is because I'm in Dia. I'm a big OXO holder. People say, oh, look at this big OXO holder buying Dia. I'm going to buy it. This guy nailed it on OXO. I'm going to follow whatever coin he buys. And one of the reasons I bought it is because I saw a big OXO holder go into it. I was like, damn, this guy knows something. So that's a good time to point out, where are the Blockcircle guys in from this one? Right back here. And then I added more, the low end of this range. So we're all chilling. Everyone should be up on their entries in Blockcircle, having a grand old time. But yeah, these guys are pussies, dude. I mean, again, people don't realize it's half the market cap. Why are we puking this stuff 800k market cap? It makes absolutely no sense. Their volume hunter tool is insane. It's absolutely crazy. It's the reason that I got into Seifu, which is actually getting crushed. This is probably a dead project. But the volume hunter got me in this all the way down here, right? And it had a killer 20x pump, which I did nothing with, and am now getting my ass beat because I think this is a dead project. But the volume hunter for Dia is no joke. Like, and you have to own Dia to be able to access it. Oh yeah. Yeah, we first talked about this one at the end of March, I believe. And then talked about accumulating more and more in here. It's looking good. It's one of my favorite projects right now, up there with Whisper. And another one I really like is Vi. And so if you guys don't know about Viper, there's a new programming language from the last couple of years that's been developed called ViperLang. It's supposedly an improved version of Solidity. Vitalik himself has said there's a lot of things about it that are better than Solidity, which is the programming language of Ethereum. This token, though, is not ViperLang. This token is trying to ride the hype of ViperLang, just like Bard is trying to ride the hype of Google Bard. So, will this amount to anything, Viper token? I don't know. But, you know, Blockcircle gang is in pretty early from, like, this general region. So, it's a buy and hold at 0 for me. I'm not ever selling this unless it pumps, you know, 1000% from here. What's up, Logan? Thanks for tuning in, homie. I pray the same for you, too. Shattered Eon? I can't say that I'm familiar with that. Can't type. that this one? It is Eon. What's the shill here? Is it this one on QuickSwap? 200k market cap, looks cheap, sitting at all-time lows basically. Liquidity is horrible. Maybe this is not the real one. Is this the right one? 20k liquidity, I mean, I don't know. It looks fun. Maybe worth throwing like $1,000 in it. GameFi type. I don't know anything about it. So yeah, I'm not familiar. But next up, one of the new bags that I talked about in Blockcircle today, back down here, is 0x Encrypt. Now I don't know if there's any quality at all in this project. I genuinely think it's just trying to follow the OXO hype, but nothing wrong with that. I mean, could be a good project. It's $1 million market cap, 1.5. I'm not touching it anytime soon. I'm waiting for this to go to $5-10 before I take any kind of profits, but looks pretty good. Looks like people are dumping it now too. So maybe if we see 80 cents again, I'll average down, but it looks pretty good. I got a nice bag of this one. A lot of transactions today for such a low market cap. So I think there's plenty of hype here. Another one, Nvidia, that I talked about in the chat. I think I maybe talked about it on this pullback. I was buying. I mean, this is me right here. Over here. I mean, I obviously, you know, on something with 30, 40k liquidity, I can't really talk about it before I buy it. You know, I kind of got to get my bag and then talk about it. Because if I talk about it, you know, people are going to come in and just ape it immediately and ruin the accumulation plan. So, just being transparent here, guys, right? It's all, Blockcircle's just a journal of my trades. But, you know, we're in pretty good levels, around 2 cents-ish. I'm actually in a Telegram chat with the developer of NVIDIA as well as Dia, maybe Whisper. I'm not sure if he's in there. But I think it's a cool project. Supposedly, and also just point out, God tier ticker. NVIDIA, come on. Thanks for tuning in, Jay. I appreciate you, brother. You take care. But I think that these guys have, there's like some really high grade GPUs from NVIDIA. They're like 40k a pop. I'm not sure what they are, but I believe NVIDIA's infrastructure has like 10 of them. You know, there's like $400,000 in GPUs. 250k market cap. Seems like an easy enough ape for me. Liquidity is super low, so you can't really ape much at all. And obviously it's very easy to get dumped on, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but I think it's a pretty cool project. It's just a buy, hold to zero for me. Another one, Party, I mean, I don't know. If Bob was not this project, I would say this is going to zero, but he's so prideful that I think he just mega pumps this at some point to like 5 to 10 cents. So I'm essentially pretty sure I'm holding this one to zero. I mean, I don't think the project's very good. I mean, the game's interesting. I think they need to work on the UI a bit and maybe add some other game mechanic to it, but like I said, he's a prideful motherfucker. I think he's just going to pump the shit out of it. So that's a hold to zero for me. Nerf. Pretty good market structure here. A nice W bottom forming. So as long as we stay above like 60 cents, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. And look, it's so low market cap. You guys know the drill. It's a zero or hero from me. These guys are doing cool stuff. I think you could turn like 2D images into videos. Like full 3D video. I'm not sure how to describe it exactly, but it's actually really cool tech. I don't really know what the use case is for the token, but the tech of Nerf is really cool. Seriously cool stuff, so happy to hold that one. I skipped Unsheath. But this is a LSD play. Again, Blockcircle guys, we've been in from like 15 to 20 cents down here. You know, pretty much perfectly caught that high or low. Took out initial by now. You know, took out profits on this pump, took out some more up here, took out some here to fund Party, said. But looks pretty good. It's like a liquid staking derivative coin. You know, you can stake your Ethereum, then you can stake your staked Ethereum here in their pools and earn like 200% APY. Pretty cool stuff. Market cap is completely wrong. I'm pretty sure this is like $15 million market cap or something. So I think, personally, I think this is going to like $1 to $2 over the coming months. So I'll be holding the rest of my bag for a bit. That being said, anytime I want to buy something new, I don't care to sell OXO. So Unsheath has been my bag where I just take some profits off to fund other stuff. Omi? My homie, Omi. 100 million emu. What a name. Okay. That sounds good. What is this? That's a pretty interesting idea. Reward is rug. True. I would be extremely surprised if this actually reaches 100 million. Yep, we already covered Dia. We talked about the holders are a bunch of pansies. And important to note that this is only 800k market cap right now. So I genuinely think that Dia is going to like $10. No cap. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. It seems like a scam, but you know, it might gain some traction. I don't know. M high. I am high. Well, looks dead. Looks like a rug, to be honest. 2 transactions today. I don't know. I mean, if there's ever time to buy, you know, it's basically at 0 already. You can put in $1,000 and get like 5% of the project, so I don't know. It looks dead, though. Not something I'll be touching. Last up on my list of my bags, Revest, which is another liquid staking derivative project. Pretty low key, you know, most people do not know about this, and they've set up a nice consolidation on the weekly. And one of the only things that's been pretty consistently making higher lows on every dip. So I think that, honestly, this goes to 20 cents in the next year, which is not that great, you know, only like 300% from here, but it's got fat liquidity. 1.5 mil for a $4 million market cap project, pretty thick. So you can ape size on this. And the last weekly candle looks really good. So I'm personally holding the moon bag of this one. They got some cool tech with their Resonance app. You can basically, I think, you know, you can have 100% APY and get all your yield up front or something like that. It's pretty cool. And you can also trade around the, what is it? You can trade around the fractional NFT or whatever that gives you the yield. So if you have your yield for 3 months and then you decide you don't want to earn yield anymore, you just want to get rid of it, you can sell the NFT to someone, they take over the yield, and then you get out without ever having to unlock your tokens. So pretty cool project. Definitely doesn't really have any hype right now. They need to work on their marketing, but their tech is really good, so I like that one. Blockcircle guys in from like 3.5 cents, something like that. And the last one is a bird's nest. Blockcircle guys are in from down here around 2000 when we first called it. Had a nice period of time to accumulate. I think I puked half my bag somewhere in here for something else. But of course, kept the moon bag because it looked good. And now we secured another beautiful 500% banger for the squad. Feels good, man. I think this is riding like the caw narrative, you know, basically betting that we've had dog coin rallies, we've had frog rallies. Maybe we'll have bird coin rallies. And they've got some pretty cool tech too, you know, caw, quam, childhood end, all that stuff. And so this is supposed to be a DEX on quam. And quam is like another layer of Shibarium or whatever. I don't know. I don't care about the fundamentals that much. It's called Hoot, right? We got a good entry. It's a hold to 0 or hero for me. But a lot of guys took profits on this, took out their initials. Really good play by them. You're not too late. I mean, we've been talking for about an hour now. We've pretty much covered all my low caps. So if you want to hear about most of those, you'll have to go back to the VOD. But, you know, we'll keep going for a little while here. Let's see, what else? What else? Is there anything else new I've aped that I haven't talked about? Oh, yeah, still holding all of my Stacks ecosystem coins. You know, we got WELSH, Dogcoin for Bitcoin or whatever. DIKO is like the Maker DAO. Stack Swap is a DEX play. So if Stacks blows up, I expect all these to go up very nicely. And Stacks looks pretty darn good. I mean, you know, really nice risk reward down to like 80 cents. So you can always cut if we break there and then rebuild a position down around like 50. So I won't be personally buying Stacks, but if we get a nice dip down here, I will be buying it again. What else? What else am I missing? I think I've pretty much talked about everything that I'm invested in lately. I mean, we can talk about OXO more, but, you know, if you follow me and you don't get the OXO play by now, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I think it goes sideways for a while, though. Probably sideways to the end of the month. But, yeah, anything you guys specifically want to look at? You know, if not, we don't got to keep this going any longer than it has to be, so the VOD watchers don't have to commit to 2 hours, but if you guys don't have anything, then I'm going to get to the questions from Discord. And I'll try to put a timer in the chat for when the questions start so that, you know, you don't got to watch the whole stream for that, but let's go ahead and look at some of these. So we got a good bit. You know, this will probably take us a bit to get through, but I definitely want to address them. All right, we'll look at ASTR, and then I'm going to do the questions, okay? Let's use this tab. Let's do a new tab. Astar. Ugh. Astar. Not really my favorite name for a project, but that's okay. And a pretty sick pump. Oh shit, we got a lot of information here. What the hell happened over here? 30 cents to 3 cents, yikes. Nice consolidation though. I like that you had all these lower highs over here. And you're basically just holding that as support now. That's a pretty good looking chart, I'll admit. Yeah. Someone ape an Agi. Yes, you can pay for Blockcircle and crypto. If you scroll down, let me see if it's up right now. So if you guys don't know, blockcircle.com, that's where you go to sign up. Here we go. If you want to pay with cryptocurrencies, you deposit your tokens here, and then you send my business partner Basil an email, and he'll get you the whole onboarding package and all that good stuff. But ideally, you pay with PayPal. You know, if you want to do crypto, it's cool. We'll definitely take it, but ideally, we do PayPal. But I'm not sure the narrative for this, but the chart does look good. You know, I think if you build a position down to like 5 cents, you know, probably going to work out pretty well. That being said, I don't know anything about the fundamentals, so don't come at me. PWRC. Power cash. Holy shit. It did literally no volume. And out of nowhere, like 300k aped in. So what's the shill here? Damn, hold on. 700k market cap. That means down here it was what? 100k market cap and someone aped 200k? Bro, that guy must be loaded. Holy crap. Yeah, get in there, brother. We'd love to have you. It's gonna be a long bull market. So what's the shill here on Power Cash? Is it a unique individual project, or is it just trying to ride the hype of OXO? Chart looks fine. Pretty consistent higher lows. That being said, I don't think TA matters that much at this market cap. It's either going to be a successful project or it goes and stays at 0 forever. All right, let me see if I can line this up such that I can see stream chat, but also do questions. There we go. Yeah, similar to OXO, probably hiding the ride in the hype. Okay. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but if it doesn't have an actual use case, it might not work out so well. But don't let me stop you, you know. Power to you. All right. Let's start with a question from Don Pablo. My man. Sorry, I was going to text. Don asks, do you see any good Woo entry already? Okay, yeah, we already looked at Woo trade. It's good. How to find projects who are just launching or about to launch that have sub 100K market cap. All right. So that's a great question. And there's multiple ways to do that. You know, you can follow, there's like Telegram chats that basically post every single coin that launches on Uniswap, but you know, there's no filter for that. Anything that launches, it's going to tell you about, and it's up to you to figure out if it's a good project or not. Personally, it's not going to work for everyone, right? I have been able to build a good network over the last 6 years I've been in crypto, so a lot of the stuff I found out about is just word of mouth. You know, a friend tells one of my friends, he tells me. I'm in a Telegram chat with people that are talking about coins, and okay, Logan, take care, brother. I appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, usually I hear about it from my buddies. And other than that, another reason I really like Dia is if you hold a certain amount of Dia, you get access to their Volume Hunter bot. And it's a pretty cool piece of tech. I mean, it'll tell you, let me see if I can pull it up here on the stream. Probably can't pull it up on stream, but I can give an idea of what it does. So essentially, it'll list at any given time the top 10 trending tokens on Uniswap. It'll tell you the interactions with it, how many interactions the contract has had, the market cap, how much liquidity is in there, and if the contract is renounced or not. And it's always changing. So every day, there's a dozen new, I almost said PogChamp because one of the main coins in here right now is Pog. But there's a dozen new projects on here that have already been filtered such that they have good interactions, good volume. And that's a great way to catch coins early. So if you really want access to that, you're going to have to hold, you know, it's either 500 or 1,000 Dia or something like that. And then you go to the Telegram and you get access to their Volume Hunter bot. Definitely a good way to get into early coins. I'm not exactly sure on Dia. I just know that only half of them are actually circulating right now. I'm pretty sure about that. But I'm sure you can ask in the Telegram and they'd be able to tell you. Maybe I can look at that right now. See if I can figure that out. It's actually only 40% in circulation. Oh, okay, so 15% is completely cut off from circulation from early snipers that got blacklisted. And the rest... Oh, the rest is in the treasury. So I guess they have plans for that, rewards or something like that. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But I just know that only 40% is in circulation. So the market cap is like 700K right now. Super early. I have not heard about those. To be frank with you, I've not heard about those, but I got a lot of questions here, so I'm going to have to get through those before I can look at any other projects. So yeah, that's how you find projects that are early. You either look at a Uniswap bot, and then you just have to filter through them all yourself, or you can use Dia's Volume Hunter, and it'll give you recommendations. Or you got to know people, you know, get on Twitter, network, start to meet people, talk to people. You know, follow people that are unheard of. You know, a lot of the time, the people getting you into these projects are not the 100, 200, 300,000 follower guys. It's the 100, 200, 300 follower guys, right? Find some gym hunters. Don asks, general question on good entry levels ranges for adding to positions. Currently opened by Alex. Okay, that's a good question. So, an issue with that is a lot of these are very low cap coins. Like take, 0x Encrypt, for example. It's $1.5 million market cap. So, the general idea is to buy into higher lows, right? So, either you're buying the higher low or you look at the trend, all right, this higher low was here. The next higher low was, about 50% up from there. The next higher low was about 50% up from there. So the next higher low would probably be about 50% up from there. So you build up your position into the higher low and into either the old top or a 50% to 61.8% retrace. That's the most standard way that I do it. But, it's like you don't want to really buy here, and then if we get below here, you cut it. Like, anyone can get us below there in one transaction because it's such a low market cap. So with these low cap plays, for me, it's zero or hero for the most part. Versus something like, I don't know, I don't have anything pulled up that's a higher market cap, but something like, Chainlink, excuse me. You can definitely stop out below key market structure because if we close below there on a $1 billion project, clearly the market is trying to tell you something. It's not one person nuking this market out. It's a lot of different players, right? And so that project might be cooked for a bit. But, that's really the best way to get into projects or to add to projects that I'm already in. And DAI is a good example, right? Higher low, the next higher low is about 50% above that. 50%, by the way, what I'm saying with that is not a 50% pump. I'm saying you look at the bottom, the higher low, you look at the top, and about 50% up that wall is where the higher low will come. Same with this pump, right? About halfway up that wall, that's going to be your higher low. Likewise, take that higher low, the new top, about halfway up that wall is where the higher low is going to be. Sometimes you're going to come all the way back down, for sure. But a lot of times, it's called a higher low for a reason, not equal lows. The lows should be higher than the previous one, maintaining a strong uptrend. You know what I'm saying? And the next part of your question, sell in May and go away. Do you think that's applicable? I'm not super big on the whole seasonality aspect of Bitcoin. I don't think that every year sell in May and go away is going to work. But, given the timing, I could definitely see that be the case this year. We're coming into a really key level of resistance for Bitcoin. Either we're going to rip right through it in one go, or we're going to sell off and consolidate for a while, making sell in May and go away for a bit a pretty good statement. But more like sell in May and accumulate throughout the summer for a holiday season pump. That's what I would think. What's up, Bert? Thanks for tuning in, brother. So yeah, I could definitely see sell in May and go away playing out this year, but it's not something like May 1st hits, I gotta get out of all my bags. Like, I definitely don't play it that way. Most solid Binance plays. I would say WooTrade. WooTrade's definitely up there on one of the best structures. It's got the same issue as Bitcoin for sure, that it's coming into all these previous higher lows. So, either you're going to rip right through it or you're going to sell off and you want to build your position down to like 25, 20 cents. And your risk is either below 20 cents or below 15 cents. So I like that a lot. I think Stacks looks really good. Either we're going to hold a higher low pretty much right here. So, you can have a nice setup. If we close below this last higher low, I would cut it. Pretty good risk reward. And then I would work on building a position. Well, we're actually already at the 61.8 as I speak. So either we hold here or you're building a position down here after this downtrend breaks. You can nibble on the way down. Then once we reverse, you can add more size. So I think that's a really good play. A lot of guys are in Solana. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. For me, it's still a range trade. Matic looks okay. Lido looks okay. I don't know. There's not a lot of stuff on Binance that I really like. Ooh, CFX. That's another one that looks really good. Similar to Stacks. As long as we can maintain higher lows in front of like 30 cents, it looks good. Cut it below there because you're basically in no man's land. Look to reaccumulate down below 15 cents if you can. Or, just wait. If we break, wait for the downtrend to end. We might not get all the way down there. And you can reaccumulate once this downtrend is over. So those are my favorites. Food Trade, Stacks, CFX. I mean, I'm sure there's a handful of other good coins, but, you know, DYDX looks pretty decent. A lot of focus on finding microcaps on ETH. When are you going to look at other chains? I mean, we hit Arbitrum pretty hard, honestly. You know, with Plutus, we kind of whiffed it with XCal a little bit. Missed out on Camelot. But, you know, we had a pretty good play on Plutus. So, I mean, we've done Arbitrum. I'm not seeing a lot on Arbitrum that really has me excited. So, I'm not, like, blockchain maximalist. If someone hits me up like, yo, check out this project, I really like it, I'm not going to be like, well, it's got to be on ETH, right? Like, if it's on Polygon, if it's on ZK, if it's on Arbitrum, AVAX, I don't really care. If I like the project, I'll bridge over there and get some. So I'm definitely not specifically looking for one ecosystem to be in. So, yes, Dan, I just go wherever something I like is at. You know, if a project I like ends up being on ZK, catch me on ZK. But I'm not like, man, I got to find an Arbitrum gem today. You know, I got to find an Arbitrum gem. Like, I just don't really find that important. I mean, it's nice to have some exposure to every ecosystem for sure. But I just go where the projects I like are. All right, and then Basil, my business partner, has posted some questions from other members that DM'd him. So let's read some of these. If a trading signal for a trade is missed, how should someone determine if the trade opportunity is still valid? By looking at the entry price range or by looking at other points of invalidation? Like, if take profit, target 1 is hit, and you're still not in the trade, it's technically an invalidated trade to some extent, but perhaps you just reduce your position size. This is a really good question. So we'll use OXO, for example, because not everyone pulled the trigger with me when I first started talking about it in this range and in this range. So let's say you're not in this yet, you know, and you think it's still a good project, you know, you want to follow me on it, whatever. The best way to do it is to accumulate on small size on the way down. Like right now, we're in a short-term downtrend, right? This is a downtrend, lower highs and lower lows, okay? So, you know, it's already a good discount from the highs. 50% discount's nice. But, you know, there's no reason it has to stop here. But let's say, you know, we bounce here, lower high, we go lower, lower high, we go to a penny, and then we flush out at a penny and V reversal. That's your chance to hit it a little bit harder, and you have a better risk reward level for when you can start to add. But, you know, whether you want to get into something, that comes down to your individual risk tolerance and your conviction on something. Just because I have strong conviction in this doesn't mean you need to or will have the same conviction as me, right? I'm in this because I believe it's going to be a good opportunity. So essentially, I'm still buying at this level because I'm not selling, right? You know, if this goes down 30%, I lose 30% of my value on it, just like if someone buys right here and it goes down 30%, they will also lose 30%. That being said, I'm sitting on a profit cushion as well as already taking out my initial. So if I wasn't in this yet, I would still want to be in it, but I would not be using anywhere near the size I have now because it's a fresh position, you know? Yep, I think it crabs for a bit with a slight downtrend, absolutely. I think it's possible we see a penny. You know, that's this old range that we were in. If Bitcoin nukes, people will probably sell it off. But as soon as the DEX is live and the rewards start to flow in, I think it's back to up only. So, you know, the clock is ticking. We could definitely consolidate for a week, a month, a couple months, especially after a 150x move. But there's a lot of people that want in on this. I've seen a lot of big guys starting to buy, and they will definitely be averaging down. So, anyways, I hope that answers the question for whoever asked that. How to best set stop losses. So, I don't know if this is like a super basic question, like how do you actually set one on an exchange? You know, my favorite is a stop market stop loss, meaning, you know, if I buy in on, let's just use Bitcoin, for example. If I buy in Bitcoin and I want to cut the trade, if it breaks, you know, 29,000, right? You buy in here and then you set your stop market for, say, 28,900. right? You know, you bought 1 Bitcoin, you set -1 Bitcoin for 28,900. Stop market, meaning if the price hits, it'll get you out. Into the discussion. Now that's for centralized exchanges. For DeFi, it's different. You can't really do that, as far as I know. And the other type of stop is a closing basis stop, where you don't exit unless the candle closes below a certain level, which can be very dangerous, but it can also save you from a flush. So let's say, like, you know, like this daily candle here closes at 22K. Let's say you're playing on the short side during this pullback, and you're gonna close your shorts if we close above these lower highs on a daily candle. Okay? So a market stop would have you out right here, versus a closing basis stop will have you out up here. So you're gonna eat more slippage sometimes when you wait for the closing basis stop. But in the same light, you know, here's a good example. Let's say you're buying these dips on BTC, buying the dip, but you want to cut it if we break this level. If you use a market stop that's in the books, you're out, right? This level is triggered, you're sold out. But if you use a closing basis stop, you're still in the trade and you make money on this run up because you didn't use a market stop at the bottom. And guys, these key levels attract liquidity, right? Everyone knows that if we get a move up like this, people are going to have their stops right below here. So the sellers are incentivized to push it to that level to stop those guys out before moving higher. And the same thing happens on the upside, right? You go from one liquidity level right back to the next. Stop out those guys. Move back down. You get them to short again, because they're sad that they got stopped out, only to reverse back and stop them out again. So, and this is the only option for DeFi, right? There's no market stops, as far as I know, for DeFi. And that's one reason that my bags run so hard. I mean, if OXO was on a centralized exchange and I was using market stops, I mean, look at all the times I probably would have been stopped out. Here, these wicks, this wick, these wicks, that wick, that wick, that wick, this wick, that wick, you know, like, only for them to close higher and move up higher at the following weeks. So, you know, if you get a big red, if you're waiting for a closing stop and you get one daily candle like this, it's going to hurt to have to close it below, you know, however deep it goes. But if you go that low during the day, like every other time, and you just wick back up, you don't get stopped out because you're waiting on the closing. On the close, sorry. And it also means if you're doing a closing basis stop, you don't have to be watching the chart 24/7. You know your invalidation is every night at 8 p.m. So you only got to watch 10 minutes a day if you really want to. So those are the best way to set stop losses. In my opinion, it's good if you're on a centralized exchange to do a split stop. You know, you can stop out half if it hits a certain level with the market stop, and your other half you can cut if you close below that level. It's a pretty safe way to do it. With DeFi, obviously, your only choice is really a closing stop. Whether you use a 4-hour stop, a daily stop, a weekly stop, or a mixture of all the above, it's up to you. You know, you could say, all right, I'll keep 20% of my bag unless a weekly candle closes below X. And if a daily candle closes below Y, I'll cut 50%. And if a 4-hour candle closes below Z, I'll cut, you know, the other 30%. Whatever, you know. That way, if only the 4-hour stops get run, you're not out of your whole position because you're trailing some of it out with weekly higher lows, right? So hopefully that answers the question. But guys, if my answers are never enough, just re-ask the question either in the chat. You can ask at any time. I'll clarify. Like, you don't have to wait for live stream to ask questions in the chat by any means. I'll spend 20 minutes typing you up a paragraph if I think I can help you. But sometimes answering something in text form is just not going to cut it, right? It's just not really easy to explain what I want to explain through text. It's much better in a video or live setting. All right, let me drink some water here because I'm speaking a lot. Ugh. I've also had some people ask me about face cam. Guys, it's not going to happen. Okay? I respect my privacy. I don't need people knowing what I look like. I mean, obviously, I'm a sexy man. But, like, I just don't want people knowing if they pass me on the street, like, that's Crypto Hunter! Like, Not that I think that's going to happen. I'm a micro niche celebrity at best. But I just don't care for that to happen. You know, I like my own anonymity in some ways. You know, I'm sure there's already people knowing where I live. I don't care to have people knowing what I look like too. But I get it. Everyone wants to see the beard. They want to see the long hair. I get it. I get it. Good guy, Alex. Yeah. Not if you ask Bob. I'm a fucking villain. All right. Next question. We're getting to the end of them. What steps can be followed to screen undervalued gems? What does the due diligence process look like? Ooh, that is a banger of a question. And that's not one to answer easily, but I'll give you an idea what I'm looking for, right? Why did I ape OXO so hard? Okay, and let's get into this. So, first off, I really like to get my piece of the pie, right? And this doesn't necessarily matter for everyone, but for me, I want 1 to 2% of the supply, right? Like, that's big for me, because if I'm in a project that goes to $100 million and I got 2% of the supply, that's $2 million. Right, whether it started at $100K or $1 million market cap, it's same if it goes to $10 million. You have 1% of the supply, that's $100,000. I like that a lot. I like to have my piece of the pie. So when it's a lower market cap, you can get a much bigger piece of the pie for a lot less. Versus Chainlink, I will never be able to afford 1% of the Chainlink supply. Not that I want it, but so I like a good market cap. Also, it means I don't got to worry about a stop loss, right? If this project's 500K market cap, I go, okay, I'm willing to lose, 3% of the account on this bet, and 3% of my account is $1,000. I put in $1,000, and that's it. I don't gotta watch levels. I don't gotta worry about OXO breaking this. If OXO broke this, I'm not selling. I'm gonna buy more, or I'm just gonna hold. Because if it's 500K market cap, and if it's actually worth anything legitimately, it's not gonna stay there forever. It's gonna go to 5 million. It's gonna go to 10 million, 20 million. So I like that I can ape in, and my invalidation is 0 or rug. Or I win. Simple stuff like that. I also want some kind of utility for the token, and it's not necessary. You can still get a sick pump on a coin, even if the coin is useless. But I like that OXO, for example, if their DEX is successful, and people are bringing in fat rewards, that's a use case for the token. You want the rewards and the fees that the exchange are bringing in, you have to hold the token. It's the only way. If you want to use their privacy DEX and you don't want to pay the full 1% fee, you have to hold OXO. There's utility to that. I like that. Another thing, I like a team that is anti-greed. I don't want to see that the team holds 30% of supply for themselves. I don't want to see that they start vesting in a month, right? Hold on one second. What's up, T? Good for you, Baber. Hi. Where was I? Burke says it's easier to position that way if you have a lot of money, right? And I don't really think that the amount of money you have is really that much of a factor. To some extent, for sure. Like if you have $1,000 account with fees and everything, you just can't be really aping in and out, in and out, in and out. Versus you have a $50,000 account, a $50 fee or $30 fee, you kind of just absorb it. So it does play a role how much you have, but at the same time, if you have a $5,000 account, you can still ape in, a few $100 in OXO, right? And it's even easier then because it's so illiquid. If I want to get 5% of my account into OXO, right? What's gonna happen if I ape in? This is gonna happen. Versus the guy with $300, this is gonna happen. He can get in, and if he wants out, it's just like this. If I want out right now, it's going to be like this, so there's pros and cons to having a bigger account for sure. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's easier to position. I would actually argue that it's a lot harder to position when you have a larger account. If I have $1 million and I want to put 1% of my account into something, 10 grand, and it has 30K of liquidity, 10 grand is going to pump that thing up. So I have to accumulate now. I can't just ape in and out. I have to accumulate it. And, you know, by the time I tell the team and I want to accumulate more, it's the opportunity might be gone, or just I ape a lot higher. So it can be tricky. But yeah, definitely want utility in the coin. Doesn't have to have utility, but I definitely prefer that. The next thing is I like the coin to be fully diluted. It's nice to know that OXO is a fair launch project. There's no VCs, there's no seed sales, there's no team tokens. It's all fully diluted. And I don't have to worry about people farming OXO and just people farming with their Ethereum or their stable coins and getting free OXO. It's not possible. How do you get more OXO? You buy it on the exchange. That's the only way. I love that, right? And the only people dumping on me are people that fairly bought the coin. Not they got a team offer or something, right? So I definitely like to see the fully diluted be no more than 2x the real market cap. I mean, it's not going to necessarily stop me completely from entering, but I'd much prefer that. I mean, look at OXO, fully diluted. WISC, fully diluted. DIA, fully diluted. OX Encrypt, fully diluted. Party, fully diluted. Nerf. All of these, except Revest to a little bit, are fully diluted. Every single one of them. Which means the only people waiting to dump on me are people who got in before me. I prefer it that way. Other thing is I like to see wallets that have had success in other projects, or wallets that hold a lot of money, to be in this bag too. You know, like if I go to look at, do I want to get in DIA? I see a big OXO holder, I don't know, a big Whisper holder, a big Lido guy, you know, some people that maybe they know something or they have a lot of conviction in their previous projects, also having conviction in this, that ups my confidence a little bit, right? So stuff like that. I mean, there's other things, but it's just kind of hard to explain. At some point, it kind of becomes intuition. You know, you just get the feel for it. But those are definitely the big ones. Also, plug in the contracts to Token Sniffer. Plug it into DEX Annie. If you guys don't know about it, I'm not gonna. Here, I'll pull it up real quick. We'll pull it up for OXO. So you go on this website, DEX Annie. You paste in OXO's contract. I think this is it. Let me make sure this is it. Here we go. OXO, and it'll give you a full security report. Right? And so you don't want this. Obviously, like what is the critical risk? The token's name has a URL. Okay, like that, I don't care about that. You just don't want it to say like the owner has master control over the contract. He can do anything. He can change the sell tax to 100%, so you can't sell it. He can mint new tokens at any time. All this is telling me though is it's not a honeypot. It's open source. All the code is there. You know, there's a set buy and sell tax that can't be changed. They can't be minted. No balance override. Can't do this, can't that. Basically, it can't be rugged. It can only fail. You know, if I lose money because the project fails, that's straight. If I lose money because they exit scam, I'm pissed. Right? So use DEX Annie. Use Token Sniffer. Check a few different ones. Look at the smart contract yourself if you're knowledgeable about it. You know, look and see if there's functions that should not be there. Run it by some of your friends that maybe they look at smart contracts more. That's all you can really do at that point. So yeah, that's how I go about it. All right, just a few more questions here. How much cash should you hold in reserves to be deployed later? That's not really something that I can answer, honestly. I mean, I'll do my best, but that's an extremely personal question. You know, let's take me when I first started crypto versus a 30-year-old who has 2 kids, a mortgage, 2 car payments, multiple insurance payments. You know, like his situation is very different from mine. Me, let's say in college, you know, I started with $1,000 in crypto. You know what I'm risking? I'm gonna risk $1,000 because what happens? I lose it, I go to work. I make money, I go to work. Nothing changes. Like my life will be the same if I lose the money I put into crypto versus this guy with a family and lots of financial obligations. He loses his money in crypto and he puts in more. He doesn't have reserve cash and he loses all of his cash in crypto. How's he going to make his mortgage payments? How's he going to pay for his childhood's daycare? How's he going to put food on the table? How's he going to get gas in the car? Like, that stuff matters. So his strategy cannot be the same as the college student who's just throwing away his cash that he doesn't care about it. It doesn't matter because he's going to go to work tomorrow, earn more. All he's got to worry about is paying rent and putting food on his self's table. Like, so it's very, very different for every person. You have to have your own risk tolerance and your own risk management strategy, right? So I would say, you know, at any time, I would not want to be risking, and this is just my personal preference, I would not want to risk more than 10 to 20% of my net worth. And for some people, that's way higher. Most people probably don't want to risk more than 5% or maybe 10 or 3 or whatever their net worth. It all depends on your own situation. You know, if I lost everything I have in crypto right now, my life tomorrow, while I will be miserable mentally because I'll be crushed, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have money to put food on the table. I'm going to have money to pay all my bills. You know, I'm going to be straight because I have plenty of money in the bank. Right? I only have maybe 15 to 20% of my net worth in crypto. So like right now, I have very little stablecoin cash reserves in crypto, almost nothing. Because if there really comes an opportunity where I really want to buy something else, I'll just send some cash from the bank because I've been patient with it, mainly because of where we are in the market cycle, right? If we're over here, 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 or over here, 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 I'll send some more money from the bank all day. When we're here, you know, here, here, I'm willing to be more cautious with my money. I'm not going to be sending $1 for my bank account to crypto right now. I don't want the upped risk. What I have in crypto is enough. If I lose everything in crypto, I'm still straight. If I send money from my bank, are you making bacon? Oh, that smells so good. Oh my gosh. If I send money from my bank now, like all my money from my bank or whatever, and I lose it all in crypto, I might be screwed. I might have to, you know, sell a car, or I might have to take a mortgage out on the house or something to pay bills. Like, that's not ideal at all. So I'm simply not going to do it. But someone else might be willing to do that. If it fits your risk tolerance, that's really all that matters, right? So to answer how much cash should you hold in reserves, I mean, at this point in the market, I would still want to have like 50% in reserves, you know, like, you know, that's not saying that right now my crypto portfolio has 50% cash, but 50% of my net worth is not at any risk right now due to crypto. 80% of my net worth is not at any risk due to crypto. So I would say a fair bit, right? Because here's the thing, guys, we're not in a bull market yet, but when a bull market hits, every single day for 100, 200, 300, maybe 400 days, there will be a new opportunity every single day. And who is the opportunity available for? Only people with dry powder. That's it. So if you feel like you're missing out, if you feel like you're missing the bull run, you're not going to have entries, take a step back. There will come a time when you can 10x your money in a week if you have dry powder. There will be a time when you can 10x your money every week for months on end if you have dry powder. Okay? So, you know, just because OXO is going up 100x or just because all these projects look great, you don't have to be in all of them. You don't have to be in any of them. And if you want to be in them, you can be in on a small piece. You don't have to make it now. You don't have to quit your job this year. You know, you can have longer term goals for when things really get exuberant. Right now, we're not exuberant. We are 4 monthly candles off the bottom. 4 monthly candles off the bottom. It's the same as this. It's the same as this. Like, do you want to be all in your net worth and then sit through this, freaking out whether or not you can pay your bills? You definitely don't. So I think it's always good to have cash, especially if you have bills to pay, which, you know, I assume everyone does. All right, last question here, and then I've got a question looking at a coin. So someone asked, what does it mean when you say asset X has underperformed Bitcoin by X%? Well, that's an easy question, okay? So let's say you're focusing on just 2023, okay? Right now, 2023, Bitcoin is up, or has gone up, 87%. It's saying failure, but 87%, okay? So if, let's say you have 50% in cash in your crypto portfolio, and the other 50% you've been using to make money. If you're not up more than 87% on that piece year to date, you have been outperformed by Bitcoin, which means you have been better off buying Bitcoin here at the start of the year and selling it here. You've been better off just holding Bitcoin this whole time, meaning that you traded altcoins worse than just holding Bitcoin. Okay, and for me, that is the first and foremost goal of crypto, is to outperform Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin goes up 2x in 6 months and your portfolio is up 50%, you would have been better off not doing anything but holding Bitcoin. Okay, and for some of you, that is the strat. And there's nothing wrong with that, just holding Bitcoin and Ethereum. But like for me, you know, I'm up a lot more than 86% because I'm trading around these low caps and I'm having success with that. Right? If you're not having success with that, you maybe should not be doing it, or you should only be doing it with a smaller portion of your account and have a big chunk in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has outperformed you. And Bitcoin is the most base level cryptocurrency you can have. If you're not outperforming the base currency, you should probably just have a big portion of Bitcoin. Okay? So if you're up 40% on the year, and I'm not saying your whole account, guys. You know, if you're only trading 20% of your account, if that 20% is only 30% now, it would be almost 40% if you just held Bitcoin. So you might be better off just doing that. All right. Augustine asked, do you have a dashboard to monitor your positions? How to easily deal with it when capital is spread? I have an Excel spreadsheet that I use personally, and I plug in, I change the values every couple of days. You know, if a price changes, I update it. If I buy more, I update the amount I have. It's not the best way to go about it. I'm sure there are dashboards to do it, but there's not a dashboard that's going to have 0x encrypt in it, right? Because it's a new token that was launched 2 days ago, right? It's not on CoinMarketCap. It's not got a simple way for an API to constantly change the price for me unless the API is plugged in the DEX screener or Uniswap directly. So I use an Excel spreadsheet. You could use, you know, Blockfolio, Delta, something on your phone or whatever. I just prefer to do it manually. It works best for me. And then I track all the assets. You know, how you guys, I guess you guys can't see my tabs, but at the top, I have OXO, WISP, Dia, Encrypt, NVIDIA, Party, Nerf, Revest, Bird's Nest, and now PowerCash. I have all these up at all times. And I will flick through them every 5, 10, 30 minutes when I'm at the desk because I want to know what's going on with my assets. Okay, so that's just, that's the only way to go about it, to be honest. As a uni student, I would say as well. I'm not sure what you're saying there, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. I used Edgewonk for a while. I think Edgewonk is fine. I haven't used it in years, so I don't know how crypto-friendly it is right now. But yeah, Edgewonk is a solid journal. Absolutely. I would highly recommend it. All right, Psykid asked, can I look at ATOM and BTC and USD pairs? Look like a good deal with big potential. Kind of the bottom in its Bitcoin range. Okay. Sounds good. Let's look at ATOM. Let's start with the Bitcoin pair. Oh, wow. This is crazy. So, this is a great example of an asset that is consistently underperforming Bitcoin. Versus Bitcoin, you have not made any more Bitcoin in the last 3 years that this coin has existed if you've just held it. You've really just performed as well as, if not a little bit worse, than Bitcoin. That being said, this could be a long-term accumulation range that maybe this cycle, it'll leave it and never come back. So if you believe in ATOM in the long term, I mean, this is a pretty good level to pick some up versus Bitcoin, right? You're in the middle of the range, your risk is down to here, and your reward, right? Your reward is that it mega pumps, you know, way up here and outperforms Bitcoin this cycle into 2024, 2025. As far as just making more dollars, if you don't really care about outperforming Bitcoin, I'd say it looks okay. The higher time frame is not great. It's trending below the 8 EMA on the monthly. It's still making lower highs on lower time frames, but it has come back and retested its long-term higher low, right? The low was here. The last higher low before new highs was here. You ran all the stops of that during the FTX crisis, or I guess this was the Luna crisis. And now you're starting to put in higher lows on the weekly, right? I wouldn't say you're outpacing Bitcoin, but this is definitely bullish higher lows as well as bearish lower highs. So again, if you like the coin, you can already be positioned, and I would cut it probably if you break like $8. But, you know, at the same time, if this is just a range, you know, do you really want to cut it in the middle of the range, or do you just want to have your risk down to the lows? You know, it's not going to be great risk reward, but when you're still, you know, kind of neutral, it's bearish with lower highs, bullish with higher lows, that's really the way to play it. And then you can come in on the daily, right? You know, if you break out of this downtrend that we're in here, okay, you start to move up here, you're making higher lows, then you can come in, here's your low, let's say you move up to here, right? And you can buy 50% retraces of that with your risk down to here. So I think it looks decent. It's definitely not the best performing asset by any means, but you know, once you really start to crack above like $15, I mean, you could easily see this getting sent up towards like 20, maybe even $25. So not my favorite asset by any means. I don't know what it looks like on the fundamental side of things, but I just don't see a lot happening there right now. Yeah, you're welcome, brother. Yeah, I mean, you missed OXO, but, you know, do you have a question about it? I mean, there's not much to say. I think it's going to crab and sideways for a while. There's a lot of interest. Clearly, there's a ton of buyers that want in on this that are probably going to average down if we move back towards like a penny. But for now, I think we just sideways for the rest of the month until the DEX comes out. But, you know, we'll see. I've already taken my initial out a while back, so I'm just holding the bag now, waiting to see how much I'm going to be incoming. All right, I think I've gotten through all of the questions that I had in Discord, which means I can probably start to wrap this up. It's been a good 2-hour stream. Right, got a lot of questions answered, a lot of good alpha. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Are there any final questions before I wrap things up here? Give it a minute. Yeah, that's always the question, right? Do you want to exit here for little gains and hopefully you can buy some more cheaper and increase your size? Or, you know, do you want to risk missing out if we've already seen the bottom and we just crab until we start moving higher? I mean, unfortunately, I can't answer that one for you. I'm holding 87% of my bag, so that kind of tells you how I feel about it. I'm not selling up here in hopes to buy lower. I'm just holding. I'm not willing to gamble that I can get my size that I have now when it goes lower. But, you know, that might be different for you. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate your support, brother. You have a good one. So it depends. My most basic rules are, you know, you have your entry, you have your risk. When you get 2 to 3 candles in your favor, that's when you take your first wave of profits. Okay, it's called the initial surge. So you take some off there. Let's say you pull back for a couple of days, and then boom, you get 4, 5, 6, anywhere from 5 to 8 candles in your favor. That's your second surge. You take some more profits off the table. And then the rest of it, you trail out with higher lows. So until the long-term trend breaks, I don't want to exit my last piece. Because, you know, if I entered here, I take some off, nice gains, take some more off, nice gains. I don't want to just exit the rest when I want to. I exit the rest when the market tells me that the trend is over. And right now, realistically, the last higher low is all the way down here. You could argue this one, but for me, look at a weekly chart. Right? Where's the last higher low for this? Here? You know, so for the last piece, I want to see some serious consolidation, new highs before I raise my long-term stop up to here. You know, and same thing, you know, you do it again, boom, new stop, you do it again, new stop, but then you roll over, you break your stop, that's when you cut your last piece. Right? And then you re-enter, you know, you don't have to stay out, you know, if you're in a downtrend here and it reverts and starts making higher lows again, you can always get back in. But only then do you exit your last piece, right? But now that being said, I don't always follow the initial surge, secondary surge rules. Like, it just depends on how I'm feeling about it, right? So like OXO, I bought originally in this range, anywhere from here up to like the middle of the range. And then I recognized as they started to talk about this privacy DEX, oh my gosh, I love this project. I think it's really undervalued. I bought more. I bought a lot more. So instead of just taking profits on the initial surge, I actually upped my size and upped my risk because I was willing to take on and risk the profits from this first surge, and it paid off. It's not always going to pay off, so sometimes your conviction is going to wreck you. But, you know, charge it to the game. That's how it goes. You know, if you don't trust yourself, you don't trust your instincts, then you got to stick with, you know, if you buy this range and you get 1, 2, 3 candles in your favor, and by in your favor, I mean each candle makes new highs. Like, I would not say that, you know, if you bought, like, let's say you bought this candle, I don't consider, like, if you did 1 candle and then this one goes up here, 2 candles, 3 candles, no. You want 1 candle in your favor, and then the second candle in your favor needs to be higher than this one. So 2, next candle in your favor is the one that's higher than this one. 3, take profits. And then you get, let's say, you get 4, 5, 6 candles in your favor. Maybe you take your next wave there, and then you trail out the rest with higher lows. Okay? And then, you know, it all comes down to your own conviction about it too. If you feel like it's genuinely undervalued, you don't have to follow those rules, but just understand when you break the rules, you are risking going in the money only to give it all back. Now, I've been there time and time again. So sometimes just follow your rules, and sometimes, you know, you can follow your gut, but sometimes that's going to really screw you. All right, I think I'm about tapped out, though. I just want to say I greatly appreciate you guys tuning into the stream. You know, it means a lot to me that people want to sit here and listen to me rabble on and on. I feel like it's quite valuable. Very educational, and it's a lot of fun. You know, I try to keep it interesting. It can be hard to talk 2 hours just to people on the internet. I mean, sometimes you don't have anything to talk about, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I mean, the stream is the stream thanks to you guys. I mean, I'll be here, and I've been here streaming even when there's 2, 3, 4 people in here, but they're definitely a lot better and higher quality and livelier when there's a lot of people in here. Thus, we get better education, better content. I become better, because the more I talk about this stuff, the better I'm going to get at it. And we all get to get better together. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. It wouldn't be the same without you. But I hope you all have a great trading week. Please join us in Blockcircle. It's a good time in there. A lot of content and value. I don't think I've ever had a single person tell me they felt like it was not worth it. Like most people that come in stay in. Unless, you know, sometimes we get a giga bear market. People lose all their money. They don't want to stay, but you know, it's good value. You know, you're not going to regret it. So come join us. You're going to get the best entries on the projects I'm into. If you're just following me on Twitter, you're going to be late to the party a lot of the time. So come join us. If we get some action this week, I'll try to post a video update. If nothing really happens, then it'll probably just be text updates. But yeah, I'll see you guys in there, and I'll see you guys for the next stream. Peace out.